Hello everyone, welcome to the Chinese Grand Prix. This is round 23 out of 24. It's crunch time in the championship now, and Troy could potentially win it here tonight. If he scores third or higher, he is the world champion of ALR. So that is his goal for tonight. And with Boxtel missing, I think this is his first race he's missed all season, or second race he missed, or his first official race he's missed since he's been a full-time driver. And this is it's probably heartbreaking for Boxtel, unfortunately. But as we count down to the start of the Chinese Grand Prix, this is going to be a fantastic event. I am sure of it. Because this could potentially be a history-making event here tonight. Let's go through the drivers and the constructors standings, shall we? For the gold championship, once again, only 16 drivers in here, which ain't good. Anyway, enough about the negativity. Let's go on with the positivity. It is Troy leads the championship by 12 points, but as I mentioned, if he gets third or higher tonight, he is the champion. Then, because Boxtel doesn't seem to be driving here tonight. So that is what Troy's destiny now is potentially in his own hands. And if you look at the form book from the previous couple of races for Troy, he has been second. He's won. He has been second. He has won, or he's been second, or he's been third. He finished fourth in Singapore back in round 17, but then he was second again in Italy. He won in the Dutch Grand Prix. He won in Belgium. He won in Hungary, and he was second in France, and he has finished fourth in the Austrian Grand Prix as well. But my goodness me, he's either been first or second majority of the season, and so if he keeps up the form like that tonight, he can be crowned champion of the world. Then I thought he wasn't in the globby then, which would have really put not my nose out of joint now, wouldn't it? Because after all that build-up, he wasn't in here. But yes, that is the fate is on Troy's side here tonight. He can win it, the Chinese Grand Prix. I don't think we've ever crowned the champion in China before, have we? We did crown constructors champions back in 2005, was it? Potentially it was, wasn't it? I think it was the Constructors' Championship between Renault and McLaren. And of course, I think that was clinched. But we've never had, I don't think, a Drivers' Championship crowned in China. No, we've never had that in ALR either. Boxtel second position. Then third position is Percy. He is guaranteed third now. He's kind of in no man's land in third in the championship. Gurman in fourth. And of course, he returned to winning ways this season. Good to see. And hopefully, next season can really kick on in the 2023 season. Chazza in a superb fifth position there. Of course, I would say this is Chaz's most complete season of his career in ALR, and he's now matching, I think, his best career season in ALR as well with fifth. Vesey in sixth position, 13 points separates Vesey and Chazza, so there's still something to be hold on there. And can Chazza confirm his fifth position here tonight? Mr. Rage, so only 8 points away from Venture as well. Got an almighty scrap there with Sam Green, only 3 points away from Mr. Rage. Gamer only 3 points away from Green, but Gamer's not racing for the remainder of the season now, so the only way he's going to be looking now is down, unfortunately. Same with Alhan as well, who's left the sport. He's in 10th as well. Markey in 11th position there. He is 3 points away from Alhan. Can he bring to the top 10 in his debut season in ALR, which is pretty super indeed, isn't it? 12th position, Nigel and the silver champion. Then of course he was crowned that in Portugal just under a week ago, so congratulations to Nigel. He's not in here tonight, unfortunately. Knowles has left this session in disgust there. I'm not sure if that is because of my appalling mass. We got Siege in 13th position. 14th is Pink Eye. Coop as in Soup in 15th. 16th position is Knowlesy. Pillars in 17th position. And this is Pillars. I'm sure I've seen him racing tonight. Is he actually racing? I can't see him. But Pillars, that would have been his first race since Bahrain. But he's in 17th. And Sweet also in 17th as well, both on 8 points. I remember that if you started, I think it's about 75% of the season, you will get relegated. Unfortunately, I think Sweet might be relegated. Indigo hopes to get more than 1 point, and then Katie's got internet issues, which means that he is not in the session at the moment, but hopefully he'll join in a jiffy. Constructors Championship, that has been won by Alpha Tau. AlphaTauri. So AlphaTauri, of course, clinched the championship, overjoyed with both for Troy and for Vesey. Brilliant season from both of them. 99 points in front of McLaren, who have had the monopoly on the constructors for the past 2 seasons in the ALR, but they have wrestled that away. Then Aston Martin, superb season in third. Then Ferrari are in fourth, but Ferrari needs to be concerned about. Haas in fifth position. And Haas are only 7 points away from the Ferrari team. Indigo goes faster. Alpine in 6th position there, but I think that's Alpine on 32 points. They need to be looking over their shoulders now. Indigo needs to start to score points for the Alpine team because behind Alpine, listen how close this is. Alfa Romeo's 4 points in front of Alpine 4 points in front of Alfa Romeo in 7th position there. Mercedes are, as Percy's gone fastest, Mercedes are then 2 points away from the Alfa Romeo team, which Williams are 4 points away from the Mercedes team. And Red Bull are only 3 points away from the Williams team. They're very close then, from 6th to 10th in the Constructors' Championship, and that is going to be very much about pride in those teams, and to not finish bottom. And I'm surprised how close it's all of a sudden really reeled up past there, because Williams have had a very strong couple of races as well. German goes second fastest at the moment. Good Percy, German, Green, and then we've got Pink Eye, who is in 4th in the second Ferrari as well here in China. In the joint constructors, of course, the AlphaTauri team also won that as well. I think they won it just after the bronze race, I believe. But AlphaTauri won the joint constructors and are 418 points in front of the next team with only 176 up for play. We have got Aston Martin in second, and they have also all but confirmed second position now as well. If they score, 1 second. They score another 60 points or so in this week, outscore Alpine by 60 points this week, which, not going to be, that's a very squirrely Ferrari. Then they'll be confirmed second. Alpine are in third, but they can't confirm that this week, I don't think. McLaren are only 15 points back with Haas in 5th position, and I think Haas too far back from McLaren to go for 4th now. Mercedes might be able to clinch it, but Haas needs to have a nightmare week, don't they? Ferrari are in not too far back at the moment. They're only 26 points away from Mercedes, so that is still up for grabs. Same for Red Bull, only a point behind the Ferrari and 27 points behind the Mercedes team as well. Alfa Romeo in 9th, and the Williams have been eating into Alfa Romeo's advantage in a 10th position as well. Then, as German is just coming back into the pit set. Harlow Foles then is back in the back in tonight. Then we've got Dylan also racing as well in the second Aston Martin. So thank you very much, Dylan, there for stepping in at late notice. I think that for doing the former bronze world champion, season 3 bronze champion, I think he was. Superb stuff indeed then. Superb accolades out for Dylan, so he certainly knows how to drive a Formula 1 machine then. So here comes Mr. Rage then, of course, one of my drivers of the season, and certainly been very impressive, Mr. Rage has this season, and the Haas team have as well. And Mr. Rage going 4th fastest there. This is more of a glorified practice session, almost to a certain degree, as we're only going to lose one driver in this qualifying session now, with, of course, with the remaining drivers almost certainly to go through as well then. Of course, thank you very much, German. Yes, indeed. I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. And yes, it is my birthday today, so very good stuff today. Or mainly it's more like my spawn day, potentially. Right then, so Mr. Rage currently 4th for fastest at this moment in time then. So yeah, this is the second to last week of ALR for this season. We're in China here for gold, silver and bronze, and the gearbox has overtaken the front of the car there of Mr. Rage and spun it around them, but great recovery there for Mr. Rage, as we're just watching his teammate who is driving in replace of Coop then. So here comes Harlow Foles, and who shouldn't have a default helmet then. So I'm absolutely disgusted by that. However, let's see what the Haas driver can do here tonight then, as he's currently out on the outlook. And they're just now on board then with Harlow Foles. Then coming down the short bike straight. Then, of course, China on the calendar. I don't think it's not going to be on the calendar next season. I don't believe China isn't then. So, of course, last time F1 raced around China was at very historic but very forgettable 1000th race officially. We've raced around China a couple of times then. I think in the history of ALR for when China's been in, when we've raced around China, this is our 7th Grand Prix in China. Now, the only time we didn't race around China in ALR's history is actually back in season 6 then. Last season's Grand Prix winner was Danger Times, and pretty impressive stuff indeed then. Of course, the season before, in season 5, I think it was, hang on, let me get my Specsavers out. It was German who won it in season 5. Season 4 was Granty. Season 3 was Granty again. Season 2 was Silent Shifting, and Jochen won in season 1 then. So we've had a lot of different drivers. And once again then, we haven't had... only Granty has won this event more than once then in ALR's history. So can German become only the second driver then to win this multiple multiple times in his career then? We'll find out about that one then as well. Then of course last season's pole position time was a 1:30 set by Blaze. However, I think that we're going to be a bit more slower than that. We're already 3 seconds off the pace here. The track, it'll be very green at the moment, and but it will start to ramp up later on in the session. Very grey out there as well. In the history of Formula 1, we have had a lot of rain-affected races around here. 2006 comes to mind then, of course, where Fernando Alonso was really struggling for grip that season. Also 2007 as well, that infamous race there where Hamilton stayed out on literally bald slicks, didn't he? And Falls there has spun the car. Great recovery though from Falls. And absolutely 10 out of 10 for style points, but of course when it comes to the points on the board, that is not going to help him at all, as he is unfortunately he is not going to be able to put a decent time on the board. Then Dylan then has just gone into turn 1 now. Then of course turn 1 and turn 2. This one is, we've got 16 turns around this course, haven't we, here in Shanghai. On board then with the season 3 bronze world champion Dylan, and he accelerates out now then and going up and over the brow of the hill then before breaking down into turn 6, and which I think will be one of the overtaking opportunities. Probably the main overtaking opportunity is on that long back straight, about is it 1.5 or 1.8 kilometers long? I always get this mixed up, but that's a very long back straight, isn't it? Of course DRS is down that back straight, and of course it's on the pit straight as well around here. Oh, and Dylan is also spun as well, and it just shows the low grip around here. It is very tough indeed, especially with the medium tires, and I'm wondering if the low grip around here, and of course maybe might be more the medium tire is the preferred race strategy. Oh, and we got Vesey off as well. It's a bit of rain falling in the air. It has been very dull over the since starting this qualifying session, but Vesey's been around as well there. That's not good. Chazza down the back straight, and of course DRS there for Chazza, and hopefully he can confirm from his point of view, hopefully he can confirm his 5th position, the champion in the World Drivers' Championship. Love the helmet there, a bit of black and gold then. I'm sure Sam Sparrow would absolutely love that. I have a feeling that Chazza doesn't know who Sam Sparrow is, to be honest. Maybe of course I think he sang a song on FIFA one year, that's how I know that. 32.5 there for Chazza. That's a mighty time there for Chazza. He's half a second quicker than the rest of the field then, so Chazza has really gone on song there with that performance. And then next we're just watching Hollow Falls, and who's now coming into the garage. Indigo then, who looks like he's on an outlap at the moment, so Green has just started his lap as well. German's fairly happy with his performance, and he's already just come back into the pits. And over the grid hatches there comes Vesey to go for another time, I think then. He's got 70 battery. I think he must have made a mistake on that lap there and backed off ever so slightly. And of course here comes Troy as well then. Troy, of course, and there's going to be a lot of focus on Troy tonight. Very similar to Man City, of course, as they were confirmed Premier League champions last night when Arsenal lost, unfortunately. So can Troy then emulate Man City in a way then, and then clinch the title here tonight? Well, not here tonight technically, but you know what I mean, on the same weekend as Man City then. But let's see what Troy can do then. As I mentioned in the top of the broadcast, he just needs, that is not good news, as he was 7th, but he's been disqualified, and I think he's got disqualified, Indigo has, for trying to come, and well, that's basically no one else needs to go out now, do they really? But Indigo, I think, was spun it in the final turn now and tried to get back to the pits, and unfortunately was too far from that, and he has been disqualified from the race then, unfortunately. But here is Troy now on the banking then of turn 12, I believe that is. As I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, that he's got a 12-point gap between himself and Boxtel. Of course, all he needs to do is finish third, and he is crowned world champion then of season 8. And this will be, well, he's guaranteed a new champion anyway this season, because it'll be our 6th champion in 8 seasons in ALR. That's absolutely sublime, isn't it? As we've only ever had 2 double world champions in ALR history. Coming across the line, Troy goes second faster. Cannot match Chaz's impressive time so far. Chaz is really, that's a very good time indeed there for Chaz. But Troy is second at the moment. If he finishes second in today's Grand Prix, he will be world champion. Here comes Equaz, making his 37th Grand Prix start in gold tonight. Of course, this man has clinched the promotion into gold for next season. Done a very good job with the Aston Martin team down in silver, and I'm really looking forward to see what he can do in gold next season for Equaz. He is certainly going to be a major player, I think, on the grid for next season there for Equaz. But yeah, he's driving his 37th start tonight. Then Vintage across the line as well in the Williams car, of course, as he is flying the flag for the Williams tonight with no Nigel involved. Now we just got, I'm sure we had, there we go, we got Vesley out on circuit as well, but Vesley is crawling back to the pits as both AlphaTauris. I think that Vesley must have made a mistake somewhere then, because he has, well, he said decent time there, but oh, well, you just got to be comfortable because, of course, we got Indigo that is unfortunately been disqualified from the session there. Dylan there just going down into turn at number 6. Remember, Dylan was very quick and earlier on in the session, there wasn't he, before he had a half spin, accelerates away then, and now going up into the fast kinks in sector 2 around here. There he goes, and of course, as I mentioned, this could be the final time where we see China on the calendar for next season anyway, because I don't think it is on the provisional calendar for next season then. Of course, which is planning to be a 22 race calendar for next season in Formula 1. Then, of course, with Formula 1, of course, not with Imola not going ahead this weekend, which I must say I'm absolutely devastated by. But more importantly, is hoping that everyone's all right over in Imola in Italy, there with all those devastating floods. Which is a lot more important, isn't it? I think a lot more important than is I've just got Dylan then down the back straight. And then, of course, breaking down into third gear, then just 40 miles an hour before getting back on the power, and then coming into the final turn as well. And as you can see, then clipping the curve, and then coming through the final turn, and then it goes across the line, and he goes into 8 fast as Dylan does. Good stuff. And it looks like Knowlesy is in that limp home mode in that Williams at the moment, isn't there? Knowlesy is there. It looks like he's got a default helmet in, which is absolutely shocking behaviour there for Knowlesy. But Equaz is retired from the session. This is more of a practice session now with only 50 seconds to go. Everyone's basically confirmed through now with Indigo, of course, having issues then, and having issues there, and of course, getting himself disqualified. So Indigo down in 16th position, which is not what him or the Alpine team really would have wanted, was it? Unfortunately, as we just got Knowlesy going into turn 3 as well. Then, of course, very frustrating first couple of corners that is to start off the Grand Prix, isn't it, around there? But Knowles then has navigated quite nicely indeed. He's 6,700 a second up in the first split time now for the Williams car, before accelerating away out of turn 6 there. And then just go over the hill. We've got an Aston Martin and a Red Bull there are just racing away just in the background there. I think it's Percy and Sam Green now having a good old scrap here, aren't they? Goodness gracious me. It's not good out for them in terms of the times there, is it? But we got a bit of a race in a race here in qualified here tonight. And now then as they come through the double left-hander, then Green has just got off the circuit there, of course. So I think that Hamilton went off the circuit in 2009, and of course, talking about wet races then, 2009 was an absolutely appalling race, wasn't it? That was the first race win for Red Bull back in 2009. That was also Red Bull's first ever 1-2 as well, with Verstappen, with Vettel winning his second race of his career after he won in that incredible race in Italy. And you can see that we've got a test in the DRS there, and really this is a good opportunity to see how not powerful the DRS around here. Percy certainly defended quite nicely, but he has gone in deep here. This is not the race at the moment. Then we got a bit of a race in the race, haven't we? As they are just having a bit of fun, I think. Then just before they start off the race up, as it comes across the line, the checker flag is out, and that was quite entertaining then to finish off this qualifying session here tonight. Charles passed there. A very good time from Charles. That was set a couple of about 5 minutes before the end of qualifying there, so very good time there for Charles. Charles has already got 2 pole positions in his career. He hasn't had a pole position in about 3 seasons, so it'd be great to see Charles back up there, won't it? Troy 53 seconds off, on 53 hundredths of a second off of Charles at the moment, with Percy in third position, and of course the only driver out of only drivers not to take part in only drivers to be knocked out of qualifying is Indigo, unfortunately, as we roll on into qualifying 2. Goku, no Geordie, no, unfortunately Geordie's missing tonight, and that is Geordie's this is Geordie. This is the only second race that Boxtel has missed all season. He missed Bahrain, didn't he? And then of course he's missing this race as well. And this is a crucial race as well to win for Geordie, for Boxtel, because of course that means that Troy only needs to finish third now, and he is. That means he just needs to finish third now, and he will be crowned champion of the world tonight then. And as I just mentioned earlier on in the broadcast, of course, only in the real order form, when I think the only time we crowned champions in China was, I think it was Renault team, wasn't it, when they won the constructors in 2005. So, can Boxtel then celebrate here in China tonight then? And then he can just have a bit of fun at Abu Dhabi in a week's time then. I'm a little disappointed, really, because that would have been only the second time in ALR history where you would have had the championship go down to the wire in gold. And, of course, we've had it go down to the wire in silver as well, back in 2 between German and between Murphy, which is probably, I would say, the most tense affair when it comes to a championship. When it comes to a championship showdown, of course, and as it was somehow or another, it was it's not really a surprise, is it, in silver these days? It always rains in silver, but even back then, it was raining in silver in unusual places like Abu Dhabi. The first and only time I've ever seen. And Percy has spun the car, even on those very sticky, soft tires. The cars are just going around quite quickly here, so this could be a race of spins here then, goodness me. I'm looking for the other Aston Martin, because I think it is. Well, no, actually, I'm telling you, it's Siege the first car. Then we've got a lot more movement in this qualifying session then, mainly due to the fact, of course, that this is more of a competitive session. Apologies about the first session, it being a dead rubber, as such, especially when Indigo got confused and lost his map and was going around the wrong way around the circuit then. Of course, I'll just have a bit of banter. Of course, Jordy, I got him on the brain now. Of course, Indigo knew where he was going. He was trying to get back to the pits, I think, looking for what we've seen. And unfortunately, because he spun just at the exit of the final turn, and Albon had a big crash there in 2019, I think it was. And of course, Giovinazzi, when he was driving for the Sauber team, of course, he had a crash there as well. He had 2 crashes there, didn't he, in qualifying and the race as well. So Foles has left the session as well. Knowlesy and Foles having a couple of issues there with the internet. Dan was looking forward to seeing Boxtel and Troy for the championship. I'm disappointed as well, because I think that tonight it was just going to be one more final chapter tonight. Then before we have a showdown, sundown in Abu Dhabi. But of course, it's still not all over yet. Then, as I said, Troy needs to get third position here tonight, at the very least, for the championship to go on to the for the championship to be won here tonight. Then, so it's not all done and dusted yet. Troy has still got to stay out of trouble, and he has still got to get the job done there for Troy. But just saying, Troy has not DNF'd at all this season, and he's only finished off the podium only in a handful of races. Of course, he didn't finish on the podium in Imola, nor in Miami, and nor in Azerbaijan, or I'm just taking a look of where else. And also Singapore as well. Everywhere else, he has finished on the podium. He's had 16 podiums this season in 21 starts. Troy has there. The form is not looking too good for Boxtel, is it? However, as you can see, then we got a bit of opposite lock there for Percy as he's coming through turn 12 then before he goes on to the back straight. Then a lovely shot here from Percy. He was a part of the championship battle for majority of the season, and I think that when we look back on the season as a whole, I wondered if the Percy and Boxtel instance really cost both those drivers. They certainly cost Percy, I think, a lot. But remember when they both took each other out in the Dutch Grand Prix. And Percy's in the wall, and luckily he went square on there. Otherwise, that could have been curtains for Percy. However, as that Knowles is back in the session, lovely as Percy there, just making sure he gets on the circuit safely and just out of the way of his teammate Dylan, who's gone third fastest there. But Percy, a nightmare starting qualifying 2 here tonight. Then, so that's a big shame that Equals has gone at third fast. German is second, while Siege has got the bit between his teeth in the early stage of this Grand Prix qualifying session. Goodness me, qualifying session here then as we accelerate out of turn 13 and 14, now into 15. I feel like the corner numbers completely mixed up there, but never mind. Let's carry on anyway. Mr. Rage across the line, and one of my drivers of the season, as I keep harping on about. He's at a 48.4. Remember that the voting has been closed for the awards then, and the awards will be announced, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, admins in the comments there, but I'm sure that the awards will be out a week or two after the season finishes then. So keep an eye on that one now, and of course, good luck to all the drivers that was nominated, and yes, and I hope you, well, it's going to be cracking, isn't it, whatever happens then, but it was a very tough choice then. When I was I'm not sure if I was allowed to vote or not, but I voted anyway. But I think that one of my most toughest of choices was the driver of the season for bronze, which was between Echo, Murphy, no, he's not in bronze, between Echo, between Dynamo Dan, and between Jinner. Then all three of them, I think, deserves driver of the season, because all of them have been absolutely incredible over the 22 races we've seen in bronze so far, and I think all of them do deserve it. Then, so really, they've been absolutely mega. All three of them have been bronze this season. Fantastic. They've all had for varying degrees of success as well, with Dynamo Dan for just being absolutely ferocious in race trim, Jinner just with his outright speed, and Echo with his defensive prowess, especially in Mexico, and again last week in Portimao as well. Fantastic. Vintage has gone 6 faster. Vintage has a realistic opportunity here of breaking into the top 10. Pink Eye, then of course, Pink Eye on his debut got third, didn't he, in Mexico, and he's hoping to maybe get a more podium, or maybe even a Grand Prix win for the Ferrari team, which will almost certainly solidify themselves fourth in the joint constructors then. But here is Pink Eye Manu, who's invalidated his time, so he's going to have another bite of the cherry. Oh gosh, I got very bad indigestion. I had a cheeky KFC earlier on, and I think that was a mistake to have. Really, I thought that it would give a couple of hours of it to be like, washed down all that. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case, was it? Evening to you, Dylan. Then I've just realised there's only 16, and I'm the only one who got knocked out for a silly reason. Indigo was saying, and unfortunately, I think we caught on camera as well. Unfortunately, Indigo, I think you were trying to get back to the pits. So it's Vesey on a whippersnapper then, but he is now on his way to start a lap there. He's done a 35 there, Vesey. I thought he was starting lap. He's actually finishing a lap there. We have got Pink Eye starting his lap as well. Brooksy Goat what Percy is saying then as well. Brooksy, I think that Brooksy's had a very much up and down season, hasn't he? Brooksy has there, but I think overall. Overall, I do hold Brooksy quite in high regard. To be fair, he is of course a multiple Grand Prix winner in Cobalt, of course, a few seasons ago. Then, but I do feel that I think that when Brooksy looks back on it, I think he might be a bit disappointed because usually Brooksy's normally up there fighting for Grand Prix wins and stuff. But I do feel that. Though that it's the cars, the 22 cars, just haven't helped Brooksy, have they? So I'm looking forward to seeing what Brooksy can do in the Bronze Championship for next season. Thank you very much, Indigo. Really appreciate that indeed. Then and just watching Pink Eye. I tried to go back to the pits, but got disqualified. Indigo said, "Yeah, we saw that. I assume that was what the case was because I think we caught you just as you was in the gravel, trying to get back to the pit entrance there. So it did look like you were trying to get back to the pits there, but unfortunately, it's a bit too far for race control." It's like, and then we've got Pink Eye DRS and down this back straight. Gurman's out on circuit as well. Then Siege very happy with that performance there. Of course, Siege, who a driver who's been most of the races. Then of course this is 12th race tonight. Then for Siege, 32 points on the board. I think that he'll be hoping for more than that. To be fair to Siege, but he could end the season on a flourish, couldn't he? With Pink Eye going full fast there, good time there for Pink Eye. That should be safe and sound into qualifying 3, maybe. I don't know, to be fair. We got Nosey, I think, who's just accelerated out of... I think, did he have a spin there, Nosey, or was that his teammate? I'm not sure, but there is definitely yellow flags fluttering down there somewhere. Nosey across the line going 6 fast. It's a good time for Nosey. Can I catch Chazza? I can, and Chazza again underlining that pace of that Mercedes car and has gone fast again like he was in Q1 and now in Q2 as well. That is going to make a lot of drivers sit up and take notice there. Chazza has had 2 pole positions in his career. He has never won a race, and the closest he got was the Japanese Grand Prix Season 5, where he finished second there, and should have and could have won that Grand Prix if I remember rightly. I think I can't remember if it was a safety car came out at the wrong time, or if well, it's very difficult to overtake on that circuit anyway. But I think on that day in history, Chazza was the better driver to Emerson. I think it was, wasn't it? When there's an almighty scrap there, or no, I think Emerson might have been out there, was it? I don't know. Since turning 34 today, I can't remember my bum from my elbow really. As we got Green going second fast there, 2 tenths second behind Chazza, but Chazza still comfortably into the 32s at the moment and looking very on song at the moment there at the top of the timesheet set. Equals, who has just started up as well as we we take a lovely cinematic close up of the grass there. Dylan out of the final turn as well. Now as the track is starting to really ramp up now. What can Dylan do? He goes third fastest in the Aston Martin. He is the highest of the Aston Martin cars so far. Nosey, who is coming back into the garage as well. Well, Chaz also on his in-lap. I'm looking for the other half of... Here he is, but he's not on the lap at the moment. But Percy is on up, and we're just watching him now. Percy on the short back straight, and Chaz are very happy with that. Then Chaz has been fast in qualifying 1 and is now at the moment the measuring stick in qualifying 2 here. Absolutely very impressive there from Chaz. And look at this, Percy's even got a lovely toe from this Red Bull in front of him then of Green. Then I wonder if that was a bit orchestrated then, as maybe Green also likes green cars potentially then. But that is a brilliantly well executed toe there. Perfect stuff indeed from the Red Bull driver. But here comes Percy then coming out of a turn at 14 or 15 and into 16 and before going over the grid hatches there and to go to top of the timesheets there, and that was with the toe there. So I'm not sure if Chaz is going to be too concerned there, because I'm sure that the toe is quite powerful around here. But Troy goes faster without a toe, and of course the man who potentially can win the championship today is now on form, and he is fastest so far in qualifying 2. Full car 70 here tonight. Oh goodness me. As Equals has gone 6 second improvement there, which means he is 6 on the grab, 6 fast in this qualifying 2. Out of qualified well is Mr. Rage. Wesley, Vintage, Farf, and Falls as well. Now then, as Mr. Rage is about to finish off his lap then. He's a tenth of a second behind Knowles at the moment, but we've got 2.5 minutes to go in this one to determine who is going to be through and who's going to be knocked out of qualifying. Here comes Mr. Rage, and he goes 5th fastest, and that is knocked both Ferraris 9th and 10th here. Siege, who was fast not too long ago, has all of a sudden found himself on the wrong end of the top 10 here, so Siege may not be through after all then, because Siege looked quite strong in the opening 10 minutes of this qualified session, but all of a sudden, the Alfa Romeo driver is going to be very concerned and looking over his shoulder about who's going to go quicker than. Knowles is back out on circuit as well. Vesey is just finishing off warming up his tyres. We're going to look too. Well, no, Gurman's not on the lap, is he, at the moment? He will be on the lap, though. Let's take a look at what Vesey can do then. Of course, a very experienced driver, Vesey has said, made his debut in the first ever ALR race back in Australia, Season 1. So that's how experienced Vesey's been there. He has been in and out of the championship over the years then, which is why he hasn't got as many appearances as the likes of Emerson and Farr, for example. But Vesey, it's great to see him back in the championship, and he potentially can finish the championship on the high as well with his best performance of his definitely been his best, most consistent season of his career for Vesey. But potentially this season he could have his best performance as well if he finishes strong then, which he might be able to as well. Which would be hats off then to Vesey then. He's got 2 Ferraris in front of us here. Vintage is out of qualifying, unfortunately, then. And just as we just seen one of the Ferraris of Pink Eye get out of the way, Vintage then the first driver then to be knocked out of qualifying too here. I think Foles is also going to be out as well, unfortunately, as he's not got out of the pitch just yet. And Foles, there must be some technical gremlins going on with that Haas car. Vesey in intermediate 2 split time is almost half a second up. He's actually more than half a second up in the second split time. Mr. Rage is happy with that then. So Percy, Troy, Percy, Charles and Green, Rage and Dylan are all comfortable with their times then. Equaz is in the pit said, I don't think he's got enough time now to come out of the pit lane, has he then? So that is so Equaz might be nervously looking over his shoulder. Siege can't Equaz retire as well, so the top 8 is retired for this one then. I think Siege could be in a bit of peril here potentially. I think that Equaz could also be in Equaz and Dylan also maybe a bit sweaty as well. We'll soon find out then if I'm speaking absolute boulder dash. So out of the final turn, Gurman's gone 5th fast there. Vesey's gone 9th fastest, so Gurman there 5th. Vesey in 9th, and Siege is now on the cusp, and he's very much in the danger zone. Think Farf, and there's yellow flags for Farf. I'm wondering if Farf has made a mistake here. He is down the back straight, so unfortunately I think the Farf will not have... I'm not sure that Farf is going to be able to put up a competitive time here. He's made a mistake, hasn't he, Farf? So his one and only time run now. And he's also cut the final turn then. So Farf, who's going to stay 14th on the grid then. What about Knowlesy? What about Pink Eye? Pink Eye is a thousandth of a second up in the second split, the first split time here. Knowlesy's gone 6/10 of a second up. Where is that? Where does that put him on the grid? That puts him, that puts him in the low 33s at the moment. So he needs to find a bit more time than Williams driver does if he wants to get through into qualifying 3 here. On board with Knowles now as we're coming down the back straight then, and of course breaking down into second gear, 40 miles an hour before getting back onto the loud pedal then for Knowlesy. Of course, I think he's making, I'll take a look at his stats in a bit, but he is coming out of the final turn as well. And what kind of Knowlesy do then? This is a good time. He's 9th and he's through into qualifying 3. Vesey's now going to be sweating, I think, and look at both Ferraris orchestrating a slipstream here. Knowlesy is through. Siege is out of qualifying. Remember, he's looking very good up there as well. Fantastic there was fantastic from Siege. I thought he would have been comfortably through, but track evolution around here has been very steep then. Incredibly steep, my word then. Pink Eye out of the final turn, and Siege is out qualified. Is it going to be Vesey or Pink Eye? It is Pink Eye who's out of qualifying then by 200ths of a second. And I thought that Pink Eye would be through in this, so that is a major shock here. Pink Eye in 11th position. That's his worst qualified performance of his career in ALR thus far, and down in 11th position then on his very tough Chinese Grand Prix circuit here in Shanghai. Dylan, I wasn't expecting a low 33, to be honest, with no practice. And thank you very much, Dylan, for your. Thank you very much as well, then, of course. I'm getting a very old ginger now, I must say. Especially as I got the old crow's feet now, like starting to appear through my eyes, but around my eyes kind of thing now, of course. That's probably when you either. You're usually frowning too much if you have the crow's feet, don't you? Out of qualifying, of course, crow's feet are basically just like lines around your eyes. Falls out of qualifying, you couldn't get out of the garage then. Far for one time there. Farf only had one lap there, but he didn't make it. Didn't make it stick there. Vintage out of qualifying, and Siege was very much high up the order then when he with 5 minutes to go, but it just didn't work out for him, did it? Unfortunately for Siege, and also qualified as well was Pink Eye, which was quite shocking indeed. Percy, wow, that's close. Then it was very close indeed. But now it's time for pole. It's now time for the qualifying format. Sorry, for pole position then here in Shanghai. Remember that Boxtel's got 3 pole positions in a row. He is not going to get a pole position tonight then. So can Troy get a pole position then? As he was the last person to get a pole position who wasn't in the McLaren. And now as they trundle out of the pit lane here, I think it is as they come out of the pits now and then they go into turn 1. We got Ferrari German out there. We have got Percy out as well, as I was mentioned already. I think the most this season will be remembered for, of course, whoever wins the World Championship, but we'll also remember the very heated rivalry between Boxall and Percy. Then, of course, I think it got very heated mid-season, didn't it? And I do feel that that rivalry possibly has cost both drivers potentially. Well, we'll find out anyway, because I don't want to count the chickens before they hatch. There's a long way to go in this championship yet. Well, there's 2 races to go still, and but I do feel that both drivers looking back that they may feel that rivalry may have cost them the championship. Maybe they took their eye off the championship because it was getting a bit too friendly with each other then potentially. And remember that the Dutch Grand Prix is very much the flashpoint of that rivalry, wasn't it? There between the 2 drivers. We got Percy now on the back straight. Out of turn at 12, and just as we're getting ready to warm up, then only drivers in the pits, and everyone's out on circuit apart from Rage. Troy and Vesey, both AlphaTauris, are not going into the pits at the moment. Then as we go down into the final turn, then Mortor is meant to be joining in qualifying, and so is KD. Hopefully, so hopefully we can. Get those drivers in then. However, they've only got 10 minutes to do so. Out of the final turn then for Percy, and I must say that I think the one thing that ALR usually does pride ourselves in is how many drivers we usually have in most sessions. The lowest amount of drivers we ever had in a Grand Prix was 16 in Australia, and we've been very much flirting with that number as of late. It's last week and this week again. So very disappointing, it really is. And fair play to Far for really having to do extra work at the moment just to get the drivers in the lobby. And hats off then to the drivers, and there's a still driving here tonight. Thank you very much indeed. And of course for the remainder for most of the season as well. Of course, Boxall has raced 21 times. Lucas Percy's raced 21 times as well. Good stuff indeed. Of course, I did have Alhan in that number. Of course, he's raced 20 times. We got Green, who's done a brilliant season, I think. Then Troy 21 times, and Vesey 20 times as well. Hats off, Mr. Rage 19 times, 18 times for Marky. Really good. Oh, it's a Percy there, gonna snap him oversteer then, but as he now comes onto the back straight. And you can see there's is that Mercedes engine there purring away in the back of that Aston Martin. We are just now looking for the brake marker board. That's incredible. Just after the 100-meter breaker board. And now then coming into, I've got a sneeze coming, and then coming into the final turn as well then for Percy. Right in the curves there, of course, these are flat bottom cars, aren't they? Of course, ground effects cars. Percy's done a very steady 35, but Dylan is into the 33s, as we heard already. Very impressed with his times there, but German has gone faster still on a 32.6, and I reckon it might be the last one across the line this qualifying session, you know. There are some very quick, oh, who's that? Percy's off the circuit, and it's got very trigger happy, I think, on the loud pedal. Out of the final turn now for Green, and across the line in second fastest there. That Alpha Tower in the background just started off his lap now. Equals on the back straight. What about Chazza, who has been incredible this qualifying session, hasn't it? And I think this is the Chazza of both them from back in when he first started with ALR. Just like I say that, he comes into the pit, so he might have got a bit camera shy. What about the old Mercedes of Equals then? Equals then, who's still on a quick lap, and here he comes then for Equals, has just drifted ever so slightly wide there. Of course, he's second in the World Championship World. I think he's also been confirmed second as well, hasn't he? Equals across the line, third fast then. What about Knowlesy then? Also looking very formidable here, and it's great to see Knowlesy back in the action in fifth position there, of course. So I think he's been, when Knowlesy has reserved most of the season, I think he has been having a more of a leisurely time, hasn't he? I think he's just been enjoying his races, but now I think Williams has given him a job to do, and that job is to make sure that Williams do not finish on bottom of the constructors. And I think that Williams and a lot of the other constructors, especially with the issues that are happening over the Alpine team, I think that they do want to not finish bottom, do they? And I think that Williams are very much one of those teams that do not want to finish bottom. So I think that Knowlesy and Nigel have very much have got to earn their keep, haven't they, so to speak. Then so as here comes Troy then, the championship, maybe tonight he could be crowned champion of ALR for the sixth champion in ALR history, and he is currently second in the times at the moment now. Vesey out the final turn as well, so Troy's second at the moment then to German. Then Vesey has gone at seventh fastest there at this moment, but it's German currently on pole position with Troy alongside him on row one. Mr. Rage in third position, Green fourth, Equals in fifth, Dylan sixth, Vesey seventh, Knowles the eighth, Percy ninth, Chazza in 10th position. Well, now Chazza has not set a time just yet, but Chazza would have been my idea, would have been my pick for pole position up until this point so far. He's been formidable, hasn't he? Troy currently on the front row, of course. There's no sweat for Troy, so he only needs to finish third in this race then, which does sound like a massive task, doesn't it? But Troy has been so good and consistent this season, hasn't he? The third position, I don't think is a stretch for the man for the Troy 2023 version there. He's been magnificent this season. Really well done indeed. Only two drivers on circuit. It's the AlphaTauri drivers. Hats off to the AlphaTauri team as well for winning the Constructors Championship and gold, and also the joint constructors as well. But I think the AlphaTauri have just dominated majority of the constructors as well. I think that at this moment, they can clinch the constructors tomorrow in silver, which means that AlphaTauri has won the gold constructors, the silver constructors, maybe even the 100% constructors as well. But they are looking very formidable, and they three of the four constructors on the line. AlphaTauri have absolutely dominated this season. Really impressive stuff indeed. Into the pits now comes Troy. As we got Vesey in limpo mode then, and as he's now just hitting at the pits now. Then there's a green flag there from one of the marshals. I think it should be a white flag, Mr. Marshall, as he now comes into the pits. Then German currently on pole position. Then I think that German has had a pole position this season. Then of course he has had a race win now for German. Can he get his first pole position of the season? I can't remember how many pole positions German's had in his career. He hasn't had many. I think qualifying has not been German's strongest suit, has it? If he doesn't mind me saying so. He's had six pole positions in his career, German has, hasn't he? Intermediate tires for Equals, and so I'm wondering if he has seen a rain forecast there. If that is the case, then I think that this qualifying session may be done and dusted if we get a bit of rain. It's been very moody and overcast literally since the start of this session, hasn't it? But of course, there's been no rain as of yet, then, has it? Then, as we are now just in the doldrums here, waiting for one car to blink and to go out. Then German can he get his 7th pole position of his career? He has had a pole position for a very long time. I don't know when he last had a pole position, to be honest with you. But this will be his first pole position of the season there for German. He's 2/10 a second in front of Troy, who is only 300 a second in front of Mr. Rage on the second row of the grid with Green in full position. We haven't seen the best of Percy yet, though. We haven't seen the best of Chazza either, I don't think, from those two drivers, who I think are also going to be in the mix as well, as we have now got the Ferrari coming out of the pit. So we've got 3 minutes in this session to go. Then who is going to be on pole position then this season? Well, I think Boxtel has won the most poles this season, as he has got 10. I think the next driver is Percy on 5, and with Troy on 4 pole positions this season. So yeah, Boxtel's already got the most pole positions award this season. So now turning out of the pit lane now, Mr. Rage is the first driver on track. It is German the second driver on track, and I think it is Dylan the third driver on track in the Aston Martin, with the 4th driver coming out of the pit now is the Mercedes team then, and we are just so that's how the run order on the track at the moment. Mr. Rage does have time for 2 runs here, but wherever the tires will hold up is another thing, because this is very much a tire killer. Oh, and oh dear, no, I thought Mr. Rage was going to have a spin then, which would not have been ideal at all for his tyre prep around here, would it? But here is Mr. Rage then now, and he is now winding up on the back straight then, warming up those tyres now, isn't he, Mr. Rage is. So then we got 4 drivers out on circuit now, they're coming out of the pits. We got the second Mercedes out, we got Chazza now out of the garage as well. We got both Alpha Tires of Troy and Vesley, both very close on track as well. I wonder if they're going to use a slipstream down the back straight, but it won't be time for 2 slipstreams there. It's going to be one, or is either going to be one or the other. If they do it, of course, then Green out on circuit as well. The Aston Martin of Percy is coming out on circuit, and he might be right in the frame here. No, yet, and he's just there before that. Mr. Ray's going into turn 1. Then look at this turn 1 into it. Just tightens, does it? Tightens there. Before you go into turn 3, and a bit of a dip then. Very reminiscent then to the opening of the Malaysian circuit. Then, I'd say reminiscent. It's not very much at all, really, is it? As it's more tighter than the opening 2 corners of Malaysia. Then you have a bit of a dip down to turn 2, don't you? And of course, that'll be a great circuit to have on the F1 calendar for ALR eventually, wouldn't it? I think it'd be cool to have that on the calendar for season 10, wouldn't it? But of course, that's just a pipe dream. Watching for the season 10 anniversary of ALR, which of course I reckon it would be cool if we can have some classic tracks there, but that is just a pipe dream now, and I don't think that's ever going to happen. Mr. Rage then now on to this short straight then as well. Intermediate 2 is coming up then. He is 5800 a second down the second split time now. Outlaps now for Green, for Knowlesy and for Percy. 10 cars is out on the circuit. What has happened there is Dylan's off the circuit, and I'm not sure if German's been involved as well somewhere, but I'm sure it's in a Ferrari stop there. That is not good at all, and we don't know what happened there, but has German got damage? Just taking a look then. German hasn't got damage, I don't think that, but there is there's an Aston Martin and a Ferrari very close there, according to the track map there. Hopefully they haven't come to blows then. Here comes Mr. Rage then, out of the final turn then, going out of the turn 16 and across the line then, and Mr. Rage's second fastest is not enough for pole position by 700ths of a second now for Mr. Rage. He has gone early, the checkered flag is now fluttered then, and German then, who is now on the back straight, and of course I think that I'm wondering if German did have an issue there, because that was a quick lap for German, I think, and he is and that is a big blow, I think, for German then. Yes, indeed then, yeah, he's had issues there, hasn't he? So German has not been able to improve his time. Knowlesy has completely misjudged that. He is not going to be able to get to the line in time now, and we've got Dylan, who's off the circuit as well. Of course, he spun, didn't he, unfortunately, and didn't set a time. Chazza, who hasn't set a time either, then he's currently 10th for the moment, and across the line, Chazza's on pole position now. Of course, he's been quicker than a hiccup, hasn't he, so far in this session, and he is on pole position now for the Chinese Grand Prix, and his closest challenger, German, has made a mistake there. Oh my golly gosh there. Wow, what an incredible, we said how quick he's been in qualifying 1 and 2, and this was coming, it certainly was said. Oh, incredible stuff indeed then. As German is having an issue there, the Trials wouldn't live with that turn. They had 3/10 there, so German there may have thrown away that pole position potential there. Dylan said he'd bought it as well. Equals has gone full fastest. Great return to gold for Equals here tonight. Oh, Troy's on pole position by 4/10 of a second. The championship leader has just sprung it out of nowhere with Green going in full position there. What about Percy? Percy has the same time just yet, and we've got Mr. H and Cruz as well. Percy going second fastest there. So I thought it was going to be Chaz on pole position for the first time in a very long time. But it's Troy taking his 5th pole position of the season there for the AlphaTauri, and that is exactly what the doctor ordered here tonight. Troy pole position then for himself and for AlphaTauri then. Wow, what an incredible qualifying that was there. And my goodness gracious me, that. And I got to say, it's great to see Chaz up there. It's great to see Gerben up there as well. It's great to see Percy also having a good old spar as well. Fantastic stuff indeed. But at the end of the day, it was Troy's day here tonight then. And that is at Troy's career 5th pole position of that's his 5th pole position of his career as well, because he only ever this is his first season he's been on pole position then, and he's really starting to get onto rich on the form then. Not that quick there, Chaz is saying that, but he was very much in it there. Was he 3/10 a second away from pole position there? Great to see Chaz up there, as I mentioned that, as we now get onto the race for the start of the Chinese Grand Prix here in Shanghai then, as the pressure is very much going to mount up now and mess up the spoon, but was lucky to get second there was Percy. Well, technically it's 8:30 now, isn't it? But yes, the title fight is on, and Troy can win the championship today. Then, with of course, with Boxtel not here tonight. Then, so all Troy needs to do is to get third, and he is crowned at the Season 8 World Champion. Then, let's go, Troy! Happy birthday! Thank you very much, there, Emerson as well. Really appreciate that indeed. Yes, I'm unfortunately, and I think I'm at the stage of my birthdays now where I don't really want to, I don't want to get any older, to be honest. As I'm fast approaching 40, which is quite horrifying to think about. Only 16 drivers on the grid then, which is pretty appalling really, but however, it's about quality, not quantity, and all these drivers have got a lot of quality in them. Medium tyres for Nosey, medium tyres for Vintage, medium tyres for Hollow Fowls, I mean. Then let's go for the grid there. It is Troy, pole position for the 5th time of the season, for the 5th time of his career, and for the 5th time then, for the 5th time this season. And can Troy win the championship tonight? He needs a minimum of 3rd then, and at the moment he is first so far. Car 70. Second position is Percy. 3rd is Chaz. A great performance from Chaz. Chaz has been magnificent this season. That's the angle. Let me move my mic up a bit because I'm shouting. 4th position is German now. I thought that German was going to sneak a pole position for the first time this season. However, he made a mistake, didn't he? 5th position is Green with Mr. Rage in 6th and Equals in 7th. Vez the 8th. Dylan in 9th position. 10th position is Nosey. Pink Eye down in the 11th position there. 12th is Siege. 13th is Vintage there with 4th and 14th. 15th is Falls, and 16th is Indigo. Remember that Alpine there have having a bit of a trouble end to the season, haven't they? Of course, they have had a revolving door drivers. Alpine haven't they? And of course, the Williams, all the teams below them from 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th in the Constructors' Championship, which is hang on, let me get my old book out. Of course, which is Alfa Romeo, Mercedes, Williams, and Red Bull are all after that 6th spot for the Alpine team. Of course, because of They've only got one driver technically at the moment, haven't they? And now then, as we're coming through the final couple of corners and to start us on our way as well. Let's get going then. So here we go then. This could be championship coronation day then for Troy. Of course, we would like to have seen a championship showdown, and that would have only, as I mentioned earlier on, then that would have been only the second time in ALR history where the championship has gone to the wire. Of course, which was in the second season between Granty and Emerson, wasn't there? And that's Abu Dhabi Classic there, before Emerson decided to charge to the back of a Dan Murphy, didn't they? And of course, and he was off Emerson was off Dan's Christmas card list, I think, that season. Right then, we're just waiting for the final driver of Indigo to line up on the grid now. 16 cars and 28 laps around here. That pretty shoddy amount of drivers, disappointing amount of number of drivers in here tonight. Then, however, this is we're going to be focusing on the positives here tonight with 3, 4, 5 lights are on here in Shanghai. It's lights out and away we go, and it is a good start for Troy then. And we got Emerson Equals up in the 6th position there, and we got Pink Eye getting past Knowles as well, and that's a shock there. We've got Ferrari of Gurman right down the order. Gurman spun already. That is a nightmare start for Gurman, and Equals is up into 4th position already. He's had a flying start out there. He's up 3 positions as well, and Mr. Rage jumped down the order then. Gurman right down to the back of the field then, and now Sam Green having a look at, but no dice about him. Mr. Rage is up into 6th position then, passes Dylan, but Dylan is having none of it then as he tries to come back through, and he does come back through, and up into 6th position then. Vesey dropped down 3 position, a terrible start for Vesey. Far from Vesey are playing musical chairs then on perhaps musical positions, and Wesley on the outside of Favre. Great manoeuvre indeed then. Indigo has got the hopes of the Alpine team on his shoulders then for the final 2 races, hasn't he? And down this short straight as well. Siege down in position there. Gurman down at the back of the field there. A nightmare start so far for Gurman then. As Foles unfinished there, swapping position there, and coming down the long back straight then. Here they are then. So it's Troy. It is Troy, Percy, Chancellor then. And look at the slipstream already. No DRS then just yet here in this one then. And look at this. And oh my goodness me. This is going to be a very powerful DRS, I think, in this race, is there. And down into turn 14 we go. And then accelerate away then. Mr. Rage and Dylan once again then cannot leave each other alone at the moment, can they? As they come out of the second to last turn then into the final turn now. Dylan is now in front then. Troy is at the fast side of the race then. And who is that? Farfair is on the part of the circuit we don't rent, my good sir. And now he's all over the back then, but now he can't get past Wesley. He can. And remember when he approached this race in season 2 of his ALR, season 2 of ALR, he was on course for his 3rd race win in a row. I think it was it his 4th race win in a row? He won 3 in a row, didn't he? He won the final race in Abu Dhabi, I think, didn't he? And then of course he won the opening 2 races in Bahrain and Australia. We got Farf invested there all over the back. Then Farf with a lovely helmet design now. There's of course he wasn't very well in silver, was he, last week? Hats off to Farf for going into silver. Goodness gracious me, then. As I got to say, he had a very upset stomach. Farf did. I think at the moment though is Vesey giving him the aggravation, isn't he? As he's now on the inside here of Vesey. Vesey, that is going to be contact. There is contact there between Farf and Vesey, and I'm wondering then if Vesey should have backed out there potentially, maybe, or should Farf have backed out there? I think that yes, Vesey did have the inside line there, but I do feel that Farf had the right, didn't he, and had his car more in front there, I would say. And just on board now with Perch that Green is not a minute behind Equals, and hopefully we get the graphics sorted out in just a minute. And Dylan and Mr. Rage once again just cannot leave each other alone at the moment, isn't it? Fantastic indeed. I've got, and who's that? That's a car off. That's Mr. Rage. Oh no, Perch is at the far side of the race there, and goodness me. And now Mr. Rage is behind his teammate. Foles then, and DRS has now been enabled then, so we got Troy, Percy, Chazza, Equals, Green then at the moment, so we got a lot of drivers then who have had issues on the opening couple of laps here then, but look at Troy then. Troy knows that all he has to do is finish 2nd here tonight, and he is the world, he only has to finish 3rd or above, and he is the world champion then, but he still wants to win, doesn't he, Troy? He's not going to settle for 2nd then. Percy wants to get back onto the winner's into the winner's circle. circle as well, don't he? Look at this at the top two then, absolutely flying away from the rest of the field at the moment, with chance of 2 seconds back. That is a bit of the cork of the bottle at the moment, and we're on board with his teammate Equals, and great to see Equals back in a gold then after a season or two out. Nosey all over the back of Pink Eye. Troy is lost out, and Troy's... What's happened to Troy? And goodness me, and then Percy's taking the lead, and Troy has dropped down into second position now. Oh my goodness me, is that a problem for Troy? Remember what happened with Hamilton in Brazil 2007, where he had a mysterious gear selection issue? Hopefully that's not the case for Troy. Remember, Percy had technical issues in the 100% race a few weeks ago as well. Mate, I hope that that's not the case for Troy, that he looks okay. Yellow flag in the background there. Nosey is gone off the circuit there, and the Williams car now just recovering. And good to see, we've had an action-packed opening start to this race, and Nosey dropped unfortunately right down to the back of the field then. No DRS will now be available, but also... Well, I'm on the wrong lap actually. The DRS has already been enabled then. Coming across the grid hatch as well then into turn one. Siege is all over the back of his teammate Farfmo, and Alfa Romeo are one of the teams that are trying to get back past then the Alpine team then, who are just struggling. Only one official driver on their books at the moment. Out of turn two then comes Troy then. Chancellor in third position. German has got back up into 10th position as Indigo and as Vintage there may have been hung out to dry here, as maybe Vintage is actually hanging the drivers out to dry there, but Vintage there is hasn't got no answer there for Indigo now, and Indigo is now up into 11th position there. A lovely shot here from Vintage's point of view. Look at that, that's the closest you're going to get then for camera angles on this game anyway. Hopefully next game we'll have the visor cam now. I'm sure I've heard we'll have the visor cam in the next game, but that was a beautiful display of what the driver sees then. We've got a bit of a conga line forming now. We know German as the second, and there's a second and a quarter back from Siege to German at the moment. But I'm not feeling that might be Vintage holding them up slightly. Then Harlow forwards just dropping off the back of this Gagler cars here. Vesey and Knowles having to recover after having spins earlier on in this one. Then as we got Percy there coming out of turn number 13, I think it is. Percy is half a second away at the moment. Then it's going to be less than that because Troy will have DRS then. But both Mercedes there are hanging on very gamely then to the top two, and look at this, and look at that Mr. Range pass and Vintage. What a shot there, and up into 12th position there. I love that shot. I love a bit of an arty shot. That's fantastic. Great stuff indeed. I'm already perspirating. We've only done a couple of laps here. Magnificent. Equalson still behind his team at the moment. I'm wondering if Mercedes are going to think about employing team tactics. Equals, does he have the quicker car at the moment to his teammates? Is what I could be guessing here. Troy currently 7/10 of a second then away from Percy at the moment. We didn't see what happened there, did we? I'm not sure. Troy had half a spin then and lost the lead there, but it did feel he was slow, wasn't he? When we called up to him there for Troy, and it looked like they either made a mistake or there were some technical issues on that AlphaTauri, which has been everything. It's been bulletproof this season, hasn't it? And that would have been a shock to the system. A lovely shot here from Equals, who is very much in the heart of the battle for third and fourth, and one that both Mercedes are looking strong as well. Remember, they are involved in that battle for sixth in the Constructors' Championship as well. There's about 5 teams in that battle, aren't they? Look at the top two here. There they go then, so they fly across us now. Look at the top three, absolutely flying out there. Green 2 seconds back at the moment there. And now coming out to the snail part of the circuit, Troy is struggling to keep up with Percy at the moment. So at the moment, Percy is almost out of DRS range here. Almost, but not quite that. When the status quo, and the DRS I thought would be a bit more powerful, but it's not at the moment, is it? Of course, the DRS is not going to be as powerful, and the slipstream's not going to be as powerful this season, is it? Of course, because of these ground effect cars, they don't punch as big a hole into the air, do they? Of course, which is meant to be a good thing, because it then reduces the dirty air coming off the back of the cars in front of you. Then. Siege, who cannot get past Farf. Now, Farf looking very strong at the moment in this race, isn't he? Up into 8th position. So good stuff indeed there. Farf was cut adrift last time out in Portugal, a bit of a nightmare race. However, tonight then, Farf very much in the heart of this action, and with German and Siege and Indigo and Mr. Rage and Vintage there, all fighting over 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th and 13th here. Farf is the cork in the bottle now, isn't it? Farf has got a 3-second penalty. Siege has passed Farf, moves his way up into 8th position there. and think that I think Favre was actually the cork in the bottle, because Pink Eye has just proceeded on with this race and now up into 7th position then for Siege at the moment. And goodness gracious me, I think I've got to give my keyboard a wipe in a bit. Then I seem to have been I seem to give my keyboard a wash, unfortunately, with a bit of my saliva. Goodness gracious me, sort yourself out. Right, as we got, I love this shot then, fantastic, as we look down onto the cars here in Shanghai. Of course, this circuit is very much a tire eater, isn't there? Remember 2012's race there, where Kimi Räikkönen tried to stick out on a two-stopper in his Lotus, and that didn't go very well at all. He just dropped down the order in the final few laps there, didn't they? So hopefully we won't see anything like that today then. Well, hopefully we do, actually, because of course then it just shows that strategy is going to be a key factor here. I do think, though, that it's still going to be a one-stopper, but you cannot come into the pits too early. Medium drivers had to start on medium tire runners who started on the mediums, of course, will be going to the hards later on then. But however, they was really meant to be making this strategy work for him in the early stage of this Grand Prix, and that hasn't happened. As Vintage, Fowles and Knowlesy down into 13th, 14th and 16th at this moment in time. Then Farf has dropped down behind German then. German up into 9th and recovering after spinning earlier on then. Of course, they did quite, I think German's outfit was qualified third on the grid or something around that area. Unfortunate spin before around turn 1 has really hurt him, hasn't it? Indigo then can get himself into the top 10. Remember, Indigo then would like to get some more points on the board then, as he is all over the back of Farf at the moment now. Farf currently got a 3-second penalty the first round. To get penalties in this race so far, I would say that this race probably doesn't have, I don't expect many penalties in this race, to be honest with you. And now they come across now then, so Percy, Troy, and we've got Percy, Troy, Chaza, Equals, and then we got Green, Dylan, and then Pink Eye in at 7th position at this moment in time then. Pink Eye a bit too far back. A bit too far back, and then of course to do anything about it, but he does have DRS down this back straight then, and down this back straight then. Let's see what he can do. He's still too far back. I think he needs to be at least half a second away then, which is what German is, and it's less than that now. I think German's gonna have a real good go at Siege then down this back straight. Siege is still about 3.5 seconds back there from Pink Eye, and German needs to get this done. And we've got a yellow flag back around. Vesey has spun the car, and German up into 8th position now then, and hung Siege out to dry, and now Siege is dropped down into 9th position then. Farf is very close to the back of it now, but look, Siege will have DRS then, so it's the old swapperoo there. It's not as easy overtaking the turn 1 that is into a turn 14. There isn't much of a break-in opportunity, is there? We've got Indigo, though, is making it look easy there. Up the inside, passes Farf, and Farf dropping down the order then. Farf had a great start to this race, but he's struggling to keep up to the pace now that the runners. So Mr. Rage, another driver then, is trying to recover the time that he lost earlier on this race then. And so got yellow flag and Vesey having issues again then on the start-finish right now. So very frustrating day so far for the second AlphaTauri. The other AlphaTauri was on pole position, is currently second in this Grand Prix at the moment. But that is enough for Troy to win the championship then for the first time in his ALR career. He's been a silver champion, of course, but today is going to be the world championship that he's aiming for tonight, isn't there, for ALR? And of course, the top prize in ALR Motorsport as well is what Troy is gunning for today. And as much as he loves to win, then I think he knows that just wrapping up the title with a race to go would be absolutely splendid, won't it, for Troy? But of course, he's still got 20 laps to go in this race. We should not be thinking about the championship too quickly in this one just yet there. And now we've got some more slipstreaming down the back straight then, and I think it's Indigo who's going to have a look at Siege, but even then he's too far back at the moment. He's about half a second now, less than half a second now, and braking heavily down into turn 13. I think that is, and I haven't got my trap map with me, but I think it is turn 13, isn't it, give or take a number. And Alpha so no retirement so far in this race just yet, as we go into the beautiful, magnificent buildings here in Shanghai. Of course, very much a architect's dream is that this one is here in Shanghai. Absolutely splendid. The media centers and all that kind of a lovely stuff. It is absolutely. It's just it's incredible. As Vesely having issues after issues at the back of the field there, and I think that he's struggling to get those tire temperatures down, isn't he, Vesely? tires, and unfortunately it's a snowball effect. He's in the pits now, Vesey is there, and really difficult start to this race so far. I wonder if Vesey might now try a two-stopper then and go for mediums, but that is going to be quite a slow strategy to do anyway. I think that unfortunately he's only got one set of hard tires, so he can't put on another set of hard tires, and even then he would be guaranteed himself another stop anyway, because he would have to put on the medium tires, because he'd have to use two types of compounded tires around this one. And we have Percy has broken out the DRS momentarily of Troy, but he did break out of it. But Troy is coming back at him quite quickly down this back straight here. On board with Pink Eye, and this is going to be a lovely demonstration of what the DRS said. Look at that then, as the letterbox in the rear wing opens there, and of course reduces the drag on the Ferrari, and he is gaining on Dylan, but it's not enough at the moment. I was saying that you have to be around 3/10 of a second or 4/10 of a second, but however, I think it might be less than that, because the drivers are really struggling to overtake around on that back straight, which I'm quite surprised by that at the moment. So yeah, the drivers are really struggling now. I'm wondering now how powerful the undercut is going to be in this one now. I feel that the undercut is going to be a bit more powerful for the drivers going from the hards to the mediums, because they won't take as long to warm up then. So I think that it might be the first one that blinks then, but you cannot blink too early. You cannot come to the pits too early though, because if you do come into the pits too early, the medium tires will not last that long. They would just degrade quickly, and that will be the end of your race either way then. So you don't want that to happen either, unless of course you get a safety car. Safety cars around here, I wouldn't say they're too high to be honest, but there are you can go off in big ways around the second sector. But yeah, I think that more often than not, then you don't really reach the barriers, do you, around here if you do go off? So safety cars, I don't think is going to be a part of a lot of team strategies here tonight. Is it? I would say it's probably less than 50% personally. Now I've said that, of course, that's the old commentator's curse. There will be a safety car. As Indigo then is having all kinds of issues, fighting with his car there, and that is going to really entice Farf then to maybe try and have an attack down the back straight there. Indigo then, who is still in DRS range, so isn't he, off Siege, and Siege is out of DRS range of German there, as German is trying to stretch his legs now, and is actually catching his teammate Pink Eye, with Pink Eye struggling to get past Dylan, who's doing a fantastic job in the Aston Martin car. Down the back straight we come once again then. At the moment, far as these guys have dropped Vintage. Vintage is struggling to keep up now. One of those medium tires are starting to scream on the cars. So Vintage falls on Knowlesy here. Well, Knowlesy has done a good job to catch into the back of the second half car falls, but he's catches one thing, passes quite another, which you've seen already in this race tonight. Farf is lost out then, is into the pits comes Knowlesy. Farf is lost out then, as Mr. Rage is now through, passes Farf as well. And I must admit, I didn't see that one coming, to be fair, as we was focused on the race leader, but Farf is having none of it then, he's attacking Mr. Rage. Is he going to have a look then down to turn 6? Not quite then. I thought he might have lit the stamp and sent it there. Knowlesy in the pits very early on then, so Knowlesy is going to try and get to the end then on a very long, elongated stint here on those hard tires, which can be done there for Knowlesy. He will have a pace disadvantage for the opening couple of laps or so once the tires warm up, and then he will be I think he will be a major factor later on in this race as well then. So two drivers go to the pits, and Vesey's in the pits, and I think those mediums are going to have to come off eventually there for Vesey. He's going to have to go back onto probably another set of medium tyres to get him to the end of the race there. Knowlesy, we expect to get him to the end of the race then after his strategy. I'm wondering if that was part of his strategy right from the get-go for Knowlesy, and now he's got some clean space then. Here comes Indigo then, not so much. Look at that then, Indigo's past him then. He's going to get past him well before the braking zone then. Siege is not having it though. He's having a look then down into turn 14 then. However, it wasn't... However, though, Indigo is through and up into 9th position there. Siege down into 10th then. So now then, can Indigo get after German, who's in 8th position? German is still eating into his teammates' advantage so far, but he's not into that quickly at the moment. It's a bit of a status quo in this Grand Prix at the moment. Yellow flag then is, oh no, that's Vesey off the circuit again then, and I think he's driving angry now, isn't he? Vesey is because it's just not going his way at all. Of course, I think that Vesey, he does have an opportunity there though to jump out competition in the Drivers' Championship before the end of the season. However, he's going to need I think he's going to need a safety car now to get himself back into this one, as he is he's almost 37 seconds off of Knowlesy, who Knowlesy is almost a pit stop behind Folsom, but Knowlesy has just made a pit stop, hasn't he? So of course that is why he's so far back, but Knowlesy will be starting to eat into that into the advantage in the not too distant future, I'm sure of it. Then just on board Troy, who's very much still in DRS range at the moment of Percy there. Percy took the lead there about umpteen laps ago now, didn't he? But since then, it's been very much a stable battle between these two. Then it's not got too fraught just yet. Chaz, in a superb third position, has dropped his teammate Equals by 5 seconds there. So Equals there, I'm trying to keep up with this pace at the moment, but he is keeping Green in a sensible distance in 5th position, with Dylan in 6th, with Pink Eye 7th, German in 8th position there, catching his teammate. Yellow flag then for one of the Alfa Romeos, and that is Favre, who is visiting the scenery there, and he has just unfortunately lost out, and he is now coming back on the circuit there. And Favre is off again there, and going to be light up the rear tyres, Favre is, and I think that's frustration for Favre. Into the pits comes at Vintage, but Favre dropping down the order then. The Williams mechanics are out in the pits, but we're going to leave the Williams. It's an absolute thing of beauty to see the Williams team get to do their thing, but up into this battle between Pink Eye and Dylan. Pink Eye and Dylan is starting to heat up now, because I think that Pink Eye knows that his teammate is through, and Indigo is past Siege as well, and they are starting to eat into this advantage quite quickly now, because the gap was stable about 2.2 seconds. It has now really come down quite quickly between German and Pink Eye. The gap has come down by 0.5 of a second very quickly over the last couple of laps or so. There's Green there, yellow flag there as one of the... It's Mr. H off the circuit then, and of course it is the thermal deg around this circuit, which really hurts the tyres, and I'm thinking that the tyres are just building up too much heat, which is causing them to spin. I think now that's what's going on, I believe, in this one. As we got another Alfa Romeo off again, that's far off the circuit again. I think it's the thermal deg that's the issue for these drivers out here tonight then, and maybe babysitting these tyres may have to be the way to go then. That is not really what you want to hear in Grand Prix, and it's about tyre wear and worrying about looking after your tyres, but unfortunately sometimes that is the name of the game. But I think Pink Eye does see the threat now in the wing mirrors. The only other red car on the circuit is that of his teammate German then. Of course, the Season 6 World Champion is Pink Eye's gone very wide there. I wonder if it's actually to distract Dylan, who is, of course, the Super Sub tonight for Gamer. Of course, Gamer is not racing now for the remainder of the season. So I wonder if Dylan might be in for the next week as well. Hopefully he is, because he's doing a superb job for himself and the Aston Martin team. Strong performance here tonight, and this might secure third position in the Constructors' Championship, and he might be able to have a go to get in the McLaren team. None of the McLaren, I forgot, I didn't notice this, but none of the McLarens are actually racing here tonight. Both Haas cars have come into the pits at exactly the same lap, and that is basically ruined both their races. Well, not Mr. Rage's race, but certainly ruined Fowler's race, as Fowler's has come in on exactly the same lap as Mr. Rage, and that is going to cost him pretty painful, that is. Mr. Rezo is just spun, and I wonder if he damaged his car as well. But Folzu is now onto the hard tyres. Farp has gone onto the medium tyres. Vintage on the mediums as well. So I'm surprised they come onto the medium tyres. We're half distance here. And did you see that? That is the problem then, of course, and that is Indigo. Well off the circuit there. Goodness gracious me. We don't, as I mentioned already, we don't rent that part of the circuit. And look at this, here's Pink Eye. And look, the door was just ajar there. He's on the inside. Tries to lock up, he's locked up those tyres out, and then Pink Eye is through it all in there. It was all or nothing. And Pink Eye knows he needs to get past there, and Dylan there just left the door slightly ajar. He thought he'd done enough in terms of defence there, but it wasn't there. Pink Eye now into 6th position there. Great performance so far from Pink Eye, driving absolutely supreme. And of course, we are just over half distance in this race now. Dylan there, can he keep Pink Eye right under, keeping under his wheel tracks as well? We have got a Alfa Romeo off the circuit. Farf is having a nightmare race all of a sudden, isn't it? And now here comes the race leaders coming through. Dylan now needs to keep up with Pink Eye, because look there in the background now, he's the meat in the Ferrari sandwich there. And can Dylan get back past Pink Eye? I think Pink Eye may have damaged those tyres where he locked. There is tyre rubber. I assume he locked up his tyres. I think there's a lot of tyre rubber there around turn 13, wasn't there? And I wonder if that was when he stamped on the... Oh, Dylan's off the circuit there, and he's just about kept it going there. But unfortunately there, Dylan has lost 2 positions, but it could have been a whole lot worse. And goodness gracious me, someone needs to sort their exhaust out. Not on the game, of course. But Dylan now, unfortunately, has lost 2 positions there because, as I've mentioned already, it's the thermal deg. I think that's the problem here tonight. Tyres are just getting too overheated, I think, and it is causing these drivers to spin at the moment. That's my assumption anyway. Maybe that is wrong. Then it probably is wrong, but it just sounds cool to say it, don't it? Into the pits comes Troy. So far, so good then. So far, so good there for Troy. He might be going for the undercut here. We mentioned that the undercut may not be as effective as it may have been on the go from the mediums to the hards. But from the hards to the medium, like Troy is doing now, this could be very effective indeed. And if he gets out in front of Siege, this is a very important part of the race here. But Siege it's on the... There he is, and he needs to get out in front of Siege. He needs to get on for it now as well. Equator's out of the pits then as well. Now we've also got Pink Eye pitting as well, so all the drivers are coming to the pits then. This is important now. Troy needs to get on with it now, doesn't he? He needs to now start to really fire these tires up ASAP to get him to undercut Percy. He was in undercut territory. The undercut hasn't been the most prolific, has it, in this season? Yellow flag as one of the Alfa Romeos. I think it's far just letting the drivers through at the front of the field. Mr. Rage has set the fast after the race, so the mediums have warmed up quite nicely for Mr. Rage, but it has taken a lap or two. And I don't think Troy can afford a lap or two. And we're keeping an eye on the time, on the intervals then. And he is gaining on Gurman. He's found 3 tenths of a second. He's found 4 tenths of a second on Gurman, of course. But that is not to Percy. Percy, who's on the back straight now then. Troy has fired up the tires beautifully well, though, because, of course, he is gapping Siege. He's took 2 seconds out of Siege on this lap alone here. And here is Troy into the pits. Comes Percy. There's Farf just getting away there. And look, as Troy now just give it just a delightful yes for Troy into the pits now, because Percy also Chaz is in the pits as well then. I know that there's where the Aston Martin. There are the British racing green overalls, and Percy stops on his mark, so it's great to see Percy back in the action at the front of the field. Then the Aston Martin, the mechanics have done what they can do. It's been inch perfect there. Where's Troy? Troy's down the back straight. I think Percy's done just enough. As he, there he is, he's on the outside. Where is he? There he is, and he has done just enough. But Troy will have these tyres out to fully operational temperature now, and he has an opportunity on this lap as yellow flag then for Farf. It's into the pits. Comes Siege in the second Alfa Romeo. Percy and Troy's going for it. He's on the outside then. He's going for second position in the Grand Prix. He's going for the switcheroo, and look at this because he's got those tyres under temperature, and Troy is going to take the lead here in Shanghai, and he's gone wide there, but he's still hanging out here, and he's through. He takes the lead, and can Percy come back at him there? And Percy though, that's that 1 lap of extra knowledge. Has got Troy the advantage in this Grand Prix, and with just 12 laps to go in this race then. Oh my goodness gracious me. And Troy then, he wants to win this championship in style, doesn't he? He is not settling on just for second here. However, his rival Percy will now have DRS then. Siege is back past Dylan there, as Dylan has been off the circuit, I think. Then DRS is available. Look at Troy, he's harvesting. Here's Percy, and he's going for it. He's on the inside, he's on the outside, and Troy then will have the inside. He's going to bring him out to dry. Not quite. Oh no, basically off the circuit there at the moment. But my goodness me now. But look at this. And now Percy going over is now once again got a bit of DRS. And Vince's got a 3-second penalty. But look at this. And German is staying out there. I wonder if German's going to try and get the soft tires on the car. That'll be an audacious effort there for German. But let's see how that one transpires. He's at the inside. He's at the inside. But Troy left the inside to turn 3. But I think Percy's got the momentum here. Percy's got the momentum. But no, it is Troy who keeps the lead in this race as well. Of course, turn 6 is an overtaking opportunity as well. Remember, that's what Troy did last time. He's going for it. And once again, though, and Troy, of course, keeps his line straight and true in this one. This race has been a bit of a slow burner, but all of a sudden, after the pit stops, it's really perked up here. And with German becoming a mobile chicane in front of us here, of course, as he hasn't pitted yet, has he? That is going to not help Troy, is it, by any stretch of the imagination? Oh my goodness gracious me. There is German. He's going to have DRS. He's going to give Troy DRS. He's going to give Percy, and Percy's going to have DRS as well for Troy as well. Look at this, and look at the quality here. German champion, Troy potentially potential champion in the making, and of course Percy also. Contact there, as you can see that Percy was fighting that car, wasn't he? So it was like a slippery slippery eel then, as Edu said. But Troy's flashing though. He is flashing. He's got to deployment, and here comes Percy. He's got the inside. He's taken the lead for the Chinese Grand Prix, but Troy's back at it. Magnificent, absolutely incredible. And well, the gloves are off now between Troy and Percy, and German's dropped down to the third position as well. Troy, Percy, goodness me, less than 2/10 of a second, and DRS it's not on the Aston Martin car. What's happened to DRS there for Percy as they fly into turn 1? Said technical gremlins there for the Aston Martin. Chaz has set the fast of the race, said on course for maybe his podium here tonight. Fantastic there for Chaz. Oh my word. And but Percy didn't have DRS there, did he? And that was issues there for Percy, wasn't it? Once he got issues with that rear wing there for Percy, that would be a big blow indeed. That may have cost him potentially the race win here. Oh my goodness gracious me. Wow, that was a very intense couple of laps here. We'll take stock of what is going on in this race in just a jiffy. But what we do know is Indigo is now up in the 7th position, got past Pink Eye. He does have a 3-second penalty though. Green in a very superb 6th position. Both Mercedes drivers looking very strong in 5th and 4th at the moment. That's a great performance from both Mercedes. Loving to see that. Percy, look at that though. I think Percy's going for another round as well. And as I think Edu is loving this, and I think I'm loving it as well. What an incredible battle between these two. And down the back straight once again. This time no German, and so maybe more straightforward. Yellow flag is when the Alfa Romeo is having issues there. And this time German, no, because Percy's got the DRS and he closed it. So it's our issues out of that Aston Martin car. It's the drag reduction system not working because he opened it and then it closed again there for the Aston Martin team. Unless he's doing it tactically there for Percy, then maybe he does want the DRS. Maybe he wants it down this straight there. However, I'm surprised by that. He's got open this time. And I think as it stayed open, it has stayed open. No, it hasn't. It's shut again now. Maybe Percy doesn't want it open there going into turn 1 then, potentially. Into the pits now comes German then, who is now going to have very new medium tires, and those medium tires are going to be about a lot of laps younger than some of the drivers out there. So I think that German is going to be very quick towards the end of this one. Let's see where it comes out. He's out behind his teammate. Can he get out in front of Siege? It's going to be close. We're just giving a look on the track map. He has done it then. So German has not lost any positions there by the looks of it, by staying out there. But remember what happened there between Percy and Troy. That 1 lap extra then really helped Troy take the lead in this Chinese Grand Prix, didn't they? So Caesar might be able to do that now, and he is doing that now, you know. And there he is then, and he's out up the inside then, and Siege has done it. He's taken a position there from German, but German there, but let's see how German responds to that then. Of course, as Percy sadly has not been able to get back past since being overtaken a few moments ago. Percy we're on board with now then. Percy getting DRS range, and I'm hoping he has DRS, and I think he does have DRS because those green lights do show that he's got DRS. He's having a look at the inside, but no dice at the moment there. So he just was too far back, was he? But he's trying to go a bit tighter out there, hairpin then, but Troy has the advantage then. Now he's sniffing into turn number. There's a yellow flag that I think it's the other AlphaTauri over the grid hatches there. DRS once again then. Look at this, and he's all over the back then. Look at Chaz in the background front there. He is going to be keeping a clean eye on this. Percy's up the inside and takes the lead there. Troy has gone wide, and Percy retakes the lead. The Chinese Grand Prix. Magnificent, absolutely incredible. And now then, can Percy stay in front there of Troy? And what an incredible battle this has been between the two drivers here. Chazza is actually gaining in. He's under 3 seconds now between these battling drivers. Then so Chazza he might be licking his lips here. Then Chazza going for a podium. He's had a podium already this season, so this will be a second podium of the season. German's got back past the siege now. I can't remember last time. Let me just check when was the last race that Percy won. I think it was it was a number of rounds ago now, wasn't it? I think it was Singapore the last time he won a race in ALR. Goodness gracious me, that was back in round 17 now. Vez has got a 3-second penalty there. Only 3 drivers got penalties at the moment, but the only driver that is going to be concerned about losing positions there is Indigo, as Pink Eye will be in front of him now. Percy has taken off since overtaking Troy. I think Percy does have the pace advantage tonight then over Troy, but I think as much I always thought that Troy is going to be more concerned about the championship here tonight, but he certainly hasn't been. He just wants to win, doesn't that man? That's fantastic. And as I mentioned then, of course, third position will be enough for him to win the championship. Currently, he is second at the moment, then, which is enough for Troy to be crowned world champion of ALR here tonight. And on board of Pink Eye, who is currently in 7th position. And I'd say this has been a very low key race for Pink Eye, hasn't it? Because Pink Eye, who's been very quick since stepping into ALR Gold, and he's only stepping in for the remaining couple of races this season, as he will not be racing next season, unfortunately, Pink Eye. But he's done a great job for the Ferrari team and in for himself there. German has set the fast out of the race. He's quick indeed, and that second Ferrari in the background there, isn't he? Where's Knowles is performing? Where's Knowles Heras is currently in 12th position behind his teammate. They going onto the hard tires early has not helped him at all, unfortunately, and has not helped him at all, unfortunately. And he's still in 12th position now, so I think he's looking very unlikely that him or the Williams team will get any points that way. He has got past Vintage down, moving himself up to 11th. But Dylan had a half spin and has dropped him down into 10th position there whilst he was watching the battle at the front of the field. Vince has lost 2 positions very quickly there. Mr. Rage had also tried to go return back up to the points well after issues earlier on as well. But yeah, Dylan unfortunately half spun, I think, now, because we've seen Yo Fax momentarily when he just came out of the pits, and so Dylan is dropped down to 10th position as well, which is why he's there and is not further up the field then. And as we're just now watching Pink Eye, this is the second closest battle on track then, because Percy and Troy then may reignite their battle then, but Pink Eye has had a moment there as he's just dropped right off the back of Indigo, and he's now outside. Well, I would say he's outside DRS, but he may have dropped back just after the detection zone, and that's why he's still got the DRS at the moment as we're down the back straight. Back in the front then, we're just 5 laps to go in this race then. We have got Percy and Troy currently leading this race, one, and AlphaTauri already the Constructors champions for this season, and pretty formidable through all division, for all championships in the ALR, and not just gold, but they've been formidable all over the show, haven't they? Mr. Rage now up into 11th position now. Has he got the pace to keep out of Dylan? Dylan and Mr. Rage said are pretty quick customers here. I don't think Mr. Rage is going to cruise up behind Dylan and get that 10th position there, but he's certainly going to try, isn't he, Mr. Rage is, but I think that might be a bridge too far potential for the Haas driver, but he's certainly not going to give up, is he? Back in this battle here, I think Pico just dropped off the back of Indigo slightly to just do a bit of harvesting then, because the harvesting now looks like he's back up to 22% according to that steering wheel then, as we're riding on board with the Ferrari of Pink Eye, as he does know that his teammate is very much on the charge there, as he can see that Ferrari in his wing mirrors once again then. Ferrari 7th and 8th, and I think they'll be disappointed in that today, really, because I think Ferrari's hoping for a big score with Pink Eye and German both back in the cars tonight, but I think that they'll be a bit disappointed at that. Then I think that Alpine may be very happy with this performance so far. Indigo in 6th position there, but he may drop down into 8th then when it's all said and done then, but there's still valuable points there for Alpine and their battle for 6 of the Constructors Championship. Vesey out of the Grand Prix. He's had a nightmare race. And, oh dear, he's crashed there at the exit of the hairpin. Luckily, no safety car, I don't think, so he's well out of way as Pink Eye, goodness me, it looks like he was driving a shopping trolley there. And now German in the second Ferrari is now well within the DRS range then. Out of the race as Ben said, so that's our first retirement tonight then. I think, and that's such a shame, friends, he's had a tough one, hasn't he, since that early spin then. Red wing damage, not fun, Farf, isn't there? So Farf, that's the reason why Farf is spinning. I reckon that might be the reason why Benzi is spinning as well. Of course, if you got red wing damage, I would say that's probably, of course, is Pink Eye there giving a bit of a wave there to German. I wonder if he let him buy that in the second Ferrari. I think that, of course, the rule in ALR is, and it's if you, of course, if pitting and quitting, you do get a license point. However, if you do have red wing damage or orange wing damage, then when the car is almost undrivable, then isn't it? And I think that is quite acceptable, really, isn't it? And I think the Farf's done a really good job to carry on with it, really, personally. Yeah, but it's not fun driving with rear wing damage, is it? You just keep spinning. And there's me saying it might be in the thermal deck, then that just shows how much I know. Just watching German there. German's 2 seconds back and there. Pink Eye, who is currently within his DRS range, but Indigo is going to be very happy at that. And I'm not sure, because I must admit, I was reading the commentary, so I don't know if both Ferraris really lost each other's time then when they was doing their old switcheroo, but they do seem to have lost a little bit of time then. That may have let Indigo go, you know, here. Well, we'll find out then, but German does have half the tyre life of Indigo, doesn't he there? Because Indigo's done 8 laps on those medium tyres. German has done 4 laps, so he will be quicker at this stage then. And if Indigo could keep these tyres at arm length, he may be able to get 6th position still. But at the moment, then, he has not done enough then, because he's actually going to finish 8th then when that 3-second penalty has been added on there. Percy still leads the race with Troy in second, Chazza in third, and this will be Chazza's second podium of the season. Equals in his return to gold tonight then as he really gets his eye in for next season. Wow, this is looking strong for next season for Equals in fourth. Green in fifth, Indigo is sixth with German and Pink Eye 7th and 8th bed. Siege in 9th position. 10th is Dylan, well, that is the top 10. Those drivers are scoring points then. Mr. Rage in 11th, 12th is Knowlesy with Vintage in 13th, Foles in 14th, and Farf in 15th position. The only retirement is Besley, of course, after crashing into the wall. Then in Farf is also having issues with that red rear wing. Then, as we are coming into the twilight of this Chinese Grand Prix, no safety cars, which has been very good stuff for me because that means I can go to bed early as well. But also as well as I don't have to worry about any of the quick maths or anything like that. Then, as it has been quite a straightforward race, hasn't it, here tonight in China? Of course, we've got 2 more races in China this week. Then we got silver and we have got bronze as well. I'm not sure if I'm commentating bronze yet. I need to ask Knowlesy for permission because I've got a meal with my meal with the sisters, which I must admit I would rather not go, but unfortunately this is my Christmas present. But there you go, birthday present. Yeah, it might be my Christmas present as well. You never know. But yeah, so I might have to ask Knowlesy for permission. I might see if he can swap with me for another. Oh, it's Farf as well, the circuit there, and using a bit of tarmac that we don't rent then around the final turn. But I think Farf is trying to go for fast lap, but if he's got red rear wing damage, that is going to be pretty impressive if he does get that. Watching as Farf off the circuit again then, as German is now 3.3 seconds back then. 3 laps to go in this Chinese Grand Prix then. I'd say not the most eventful Grand Prix in ALR history, is it? But this is going to be looked back, I think, as a Grand Prix potentially with just 3 laps to go. I don't want to put the commentator's curse on it, so I'm going to be a bit steady on this one. But we will look back on this Grand Prix as potentially history-defining here, as maybe not in terms of the Grand Prix as actual self end, but the meaning of this one is going to be, we're going to be looking back at just today could be potentially the day that we crown the first ever Swedish world champion in the form of Troy. And AlphaTauri will be overjoyed that they already crowned the Constructors' Championship last week, and now they are going to get a Drivers' Championship as well. What a perfect season it has been for AlphaTauri. In pretty incredible 17. Shane Boxtel wasn't here tonight. That's the first race he's missed since racing ALR this season. He missed Bahrain, but then ever since then he's been in every single race, hasn't he? Same with Troy as well. So good 17 from both those drivers. And Percy has only missed 1 race as well, and that was because of his wheel having issues there. I think that was back in the Brazilian Grand Prix, was it? Where he missed it? I think it was Brazil, wasn't it? I do think that Gurman's running out of time here, and also, unfortunately, a Pink Eye has dropped right off the back, and Indigo is going to finish 7th actually at the moment, rather than 8th, because Pink Eye has lost a lot of time, unfortunately, in that second Ferrari. Indigo may be able to get, of course, I don't think Gurman's going to be too concerned about overtaking Indigo now, is he? Here is Troy on board now then with the Alpha Tauri driver. Of course, he's just keeping Percy in arm's length for the one, and Chaz has 4 seconds back at the moment. For us at Farfar, it's the longer corners that is hurting Farfar because of that rear wing damage there. And yeah, I was going to say I'll be surprised if we can get a fastest lap with that damaged car. On the back straight now then for Troy then, and so we've got he's a bit too far back now as he finishes in the pit stop trying to get that fast lap. I think that Percy's got the fast lap though. I don't say that Percy, this will be Percy. If he can do one more lap, then this will be Percy's first race win since Singapore back in round 17 there. It does feel like an age, doesn't it, since the last time that Percy won a race there. But I think he'll be very happy to return back to the top step of the podium in this one tonight there. Chaz doing a great job today in first position. He had a chance for pole position, didn't they? Chaz did, but he's been supreme tonight. Really good indeed. So well done. So as we're on the final tour then of the Chinese Grand Prix, I think Percy is going to take the plaudits tonight. Then Percy and Troy have had an absolutely incredible battle here tonight there. And I think that the honours will be going to Percy tonight there for the Grand Prix win here in China then. And this would be our 6th different race winner in 7 Grand Prix in China for Percy, and he's going to be the last race winner in China then potentially for season, as we will not be to return to China in the next calendar, season 9 calendar, maybe in season 10 potentially, but we will not be returning back to China next season. But so Percy will be the last Grand Prix winner for at least a season around here. But well done indeed to Percy. Great to win indeed, and this will be Percy's fifth, be 4th race win of the season there for Percy. Drove a superlative race here tonight. But what we are going to focus on now is this man here. The Super Swede is Troy, and of course the most of the season has been marred with controversy between Percy and Boxtel. They have very much been fighting, haven't they? But Troy has always been ever consistent there. He's been on the podium more often than not, Troy. He's been on the podium for 17 times now, and he is now the gold world champion of Season 8. Troy is the world champion of ALR. One incredible season this man has had. He has had 7 Grand Prix wins, 5 pole positions, 17 race wins, 4 fastest laps, 5 driver of the days, no DNFs there, no DNFs at all there for Troy. That has been the crucial part. Whilst his rivals have been, this season has been broken up into 3 different chapters this season. It has been Percy, then it was Percy at the beginning of the season, then it was Boxtel in the middle of the season, and then Troy just started to become on fire late on in the season. But how he's won this championship, as he has been ever present on that podium, 17 out of the 22 races this season, he has been on that podium. Troy is the world champion, your world champion of ALR Gold, and he is our 6th different world champion in 8 seasons there for Troy. And of course, I wonder if he's given Percy a little love kiss, as was a sign of respect there. But what an incredible champion that Troy is, and he will be defending his world championship next season. Absolutely fantastic stuff indeed there. Indigo, great drive as well, and that is going to really help the Alpine team keep themselves in play in the Constructors' Championship as well. Of course, I do feel bad there for Percy, as of course Percy has Percy has won the race today, hasn't he? And remember, at the beginning of the season, he was on formidable form. As I mentioned, the season's been 3 parts. It has been Percy, then it was Boxtel, and then it was Troy. But Troy has always been in the background, whilst the other 2 were like either winning or certainly coming together as well. Well, of course, Troy did make 1 or 2 mistakes this season, but But being a champion is about making less mistakes compared to your rivals, and he has certainly done that there. He has not had any DNFs this season, and I think Troy has scored in every single race he has participated in. That is the crucial part. That is why he's won the championship with one race to go. Fantastic for Troy. Absolutely hats off to him, and I hope that he's going to have a beer or two then tonight then to celebrate. Right, let's take a final look at the classification then from the Chinese Grand Prix. As I said, this one was not a classic, was it, by any stretch of the imagination, but it is but this is more about the significance of the outcome of this race. And what I mean by that is Troy is the first Swedish ALR champion, and he is only the second man to win silver and gold championships behind German. And that's also makes me very happy indeed then. Well done to Troy. Superb stuff indeed. Let's take a final look at the classification then from the Chinese Grand Prix. Percy won his fourth race win the season then. That was his first race win since Singapore. Troy second today, but more importantly, world champion there for Troy. Superb. Chazza in third. Great drive for Chazza. That is his second podium of the season. Equals one incredible return to gold tonight in third. Sam Green in fifth position. Magnificent. German gets that fast at that point, and sixth then. Seventh Indigo. That's important for Alpine. Eighth is Pink Eye. Just strong for pace today. Siege in ninth and Dylan in 10th position. Costly mistakes there for Dylan. Otherwise he would have been the heart of the points then. Mr. Rage in 11th with Knowlesy in 12th. Vintage 13th. Foles was anonymous in 14th there, unfortunately. Fourth rear wing damage in 15th and Vez the only retirement then from the Chinese Grand Prix. Oh, I got a full house tonight as well. I'm surprised at that. I didn't think anyone would want to talk to me today. But Percy, what a drive today. This was your first win since Singapore, which I must say, time flies. I didn't realise it was that long then. But you and Troy had a ding-dong of a battle today.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I just want to say congrats to Troy, man. He's fully deserved the title. He's been so quick all season. Been a pain in my ass, but you know, when you're quick like that, it just pushes us on. So yeah, I just want to say congrats to him. And yeah, it was a good race. I enjoyed it. It was a cracking little battle with Troy. And adding German in when he was on the hards as well, spiced things up a little bit. But yeah, it was a good race.
It really was. And was you concerned about the undercut at all? Because Troy came in a lap earlier than you, and over the course of the season, the undercut hasn't been too much of a problem. But was you concerned with Troy going onto the medium tyres and not having that extra lap experience?
I was thinking about pitting that lap as well, but I saw all the traffic behind, and I was wondering, if I come out in traffic, then he's going to be able to overcut me. So I said, well, I'll just go an extra lap and hope that I can try and stay with him if he does the undercut. And luckily I stayed in front, but obviously with his warmer tyres he managed to get back through.
And of course, as the season's a reflection, then I've been saying that this season's been three chapters. Really, it's been you in the early stages of the season, then it was Boxtown, then it was then Troy has been like ever consistent throughout most of the season, but especially towards the end. What do you look back on this season? And of course, you've only had one DNF this season, which is that infamous race in Holland. Then, but what do you think? What would you think was the issue this season there, where you came up a bit short?
I think it was just myself. Like, I've come into the races with 2 laps of practice. Sometimes I just join quali and use that as my practice. So I think it's just like I've not really enjoyed the game, so I haven't like put the effort into practice. And I think if I maybe had to put the effort in like I did at the start of the season, maybe I could have carried on with the P1s or the P2s and P3s. But you know, I'm pretty happy with a P3. I mean, when you've got Boxel and Troy ahead of you by, I mean, what is it, 80 points, 70 points, then I can be proud of myself for that.
And I think you've had a good season as well. It's been pretty good, this one. As I said, well done today, Percy. Brilliant stuff indeed. We'll come to Chazza next. And Chazza, goodness me, you must like speaking to me this season because this is your second time on the podium. But I was talking about in qualifying that you was looking pretty formidable then, potentially getting a pole position there. But you kind of you didn't think that was the case then with the other drivers involved then. But you certainly looked really good in Q1, Q2, and eventually in Q3.
Yeah, no, I must say the times that I've raced around China, I've been quite surprised with how quick I am. It's not a track that I like to drive around, but I seem to be quite quick around there. So yeah, I was topping the timing sheets in qualifying, and you know, being up there with, you know, the likes of Troy and Percy, who ended up qualifying in front of me in the end on the front row. But yeah, no, in the race in the end, I mean, I was going into this kind of just on my own, really, looking at the championship. You know, I'm fifth, quite a way behind German, but a bit of a gap to the next car behind me in the championship. So it was just kind of a drive on my own to do, and it was a result of that on the track as well. I was on my own for the race today. I just want to apologise to German, because I did we made contact in turn one. That resulted in him tumbling down the field. Otherwise, I think me and him would have had a battle today. But yeah, no, just on my own in the end, and it was a second podium.
That's very honest of you. Obviously, I would not have said that because I don't like getting in trouble. But hopefully, but I think that I think that it's very honest of you. I'd say that because I must admit I thought it was just German spin on his own there. But well, that was a bit of a shame there. But apart from that, then as you said, you were on your own for most of it. But do you mind being on your own like for a race like this where you get a good result, or do you think that I'd rather have a battle really to make it more entertaining?
Well, I mean, it kind of is what it is. I mean, you obviously want to be battling. You obviously want to be like near cars on the track. But if you end up on your own and end up getting points out of it, then I don't mind.
And then this season overall, then how would you feel that this one's gone? Because I was saying in the build up that this has probably been your most strongest season. Yes, you had two poles in season 5 when you burst onto the scene. Then, but I think overall you've been a much more complete driver as well. You've been scoring more often than not, and you've been scoring big points as well. So how do you feel the season's been then as a whole?
I think this has been my best season personally. I think I've only DNF'd once or twice this year, and I've got a lot of points finishes. So yeah, definitely having consistency definitely improved this year. Same with the racecraft. Like you said before, the pole positions in the season where I came third in the championship, I think it was season 6, I think. Yeah, it's not all about qualifying, you know. It's the race is the key, and I've definitely improved that this year, and hopefully we're going to build on that next year.
I really hope so as well, and I hope to see you, Percy, and Troy start to go head to head a bit more often. That'd be really good to see. And talking to Troy, then Troy, today you finished second, but I think that I don't want to put Percy in the shade, but I think today is definitely your day of you being crowned a champion of ALR. I mentioned that you're only the second person to do that, being crowned silver and gold. Then you're the only second person to do that after Gurman, but. How does it feel then? It kind of ended on a bit of a damp squid, really, didn't it? With Boxer not race day, but luckily for me personally, I was loving that mainly because of the fact that I didn't have to do maths or anything. But how some of your feelings at the moment then about how you've made it across the line?
Oh man, I'm just happy it's over. To be honest, obviously it would have been great. To take it down to the wire in Abu Dhabi as well, and I guess it would have been better, like from a neutral point of view as well. But like from a driver perspective, you just want to confirm it, you know, as soon as possible. So I am happy with it, man. It would have been more nice with Boxtel on track, but yeah, I'm just happy that it's finally over. And yeah, me and Boxtel. And Percy as well, we've had like an awesome fight, man, and I think this is probably one of the best championship battles in ALR in a very long time for sure. And the only thing that really could top it off is if it would have gone down to the wire next week. But as I said, I'm just delighted, man.
And talks about your season, and of course, what is your? I know we've got one more race in Abu Dhabi, but what is the highlights and lowlights for you this season? Of course, obviously today, probably win the championship might be up there, but talks about the races where you feel that it changed for you, where you think I'm going to win this championship.
To be honest, I don't really know. It was probably somewhere there mid-season where Boxtel and Percy had them fights. where I got, I think it was, I can't remember which was the first track, but I had like three in a row somewhere there. That's probably where I felt like I really was in for it. I always felt I was in contention for it ever since the first race, or the second race technically, or the first race that I raced in this season. But it was probably somewhere there mid-season, man. But yeah, overall I'm pretty happy. I think I've scored in every race this season, so I'm happy with the consistency overall, for sure.
Yeah, it was Hungry Belgium in the Dutch Grand Prix where you started to really rack it up, really rack up those wins then. Because even before that, you got second in France and a second in Italy as well. I was saying then as well that in 22 races you've been on the podium 17 times. Your consistency's been absolutely superb. Percy's only had one DNF this season. Boxtel's only had 2 DNFs, but that is very significant. And of course, one of those 2 DNFs was actually the Dutch Grand Prix as well, where you outscored both of them by 25 points, or 26 with that fastest lap as well. But what was your low light of the season, and if there is any? Because I'm looking back at your form, and I got to say I'm struggling to see where there was a difficult patch then.
Yeah, there's been like a couple of errors here and there. Probably, I'm looking back at Imola, which was probably an easy win for me if I didn't spin with a couple of laps to go. I'm looking at USA Kota, where it was also a couple of laps to go, where I could have probably won and I spun around there. And probably Japan, where me and Boxer had some slight collision. But apart from that, I'm pretty happy overall with the season. And I mean, to be honest, I don't really regret any of those things that happened in those kind of races, because those are the kind of races kind of like they define your season in a way as well, in the way where like you have to bounce back from them performance and stuff. So in one way it's gonna be like looking back at the season, those are still like high points in one way, because you look back at them and you just like kind of overcame them somehow. And yeah, it's just been an amazing season overall. I'm usually quite used to being like the villain of a season, or in other leagues. People don't really want me to win, but I've really felt like awesome support from a lot of co-drivers and people watching streams and everything. So yeah, shout out to Mushroom and everyone that has been supporting me. And yeah, next week I'm gonna try to end it off with a win for sure.
And then turning towards next season, and of course, yeah, there's no rest for the weary, is there? Goodness gracious me, we're already thinking about next season. Thinking about next season, and how are you concerned then now that are you concerned that you're not going to be able to like keep up this incredible performance, or do you think there's actually more in the tank? Do you think that you'll be able to go to another level, push on through that glass ceiling?
Oof, that's a tough question, man, especially with the new game and everything. Obviously, Percy showed great pace today as well, and Boxtel is rapid, as we know. So, like Percy said, it's gonna be a hell of a fight next season again, I reckon. Me and Percy actually had a very good. I really enjoyed this battle today that we had back and forth as well. It was really good racing between the two of us. But yeah, I think. It's very hard to answer, but I'm kind of the guy that don't really settle for one title, you know. I kind of like, if you want to be the best or whatever, then one title isn't enough. Then you kind of have to go for 3, because the record is 2 at the moment, I believe at least. So that's the aim. It might take a while. It might take 2 seasons. It might take 5 seasons. We'll see. But that's my aim at the moment. That's kind of the way I usually go with it in other leagues as well, where I can't really settle for one title, and hopefully this is just the beginning, let's say.
Really well done today, Troy. And also, yeah, we've got to knock Emerson off his perch. Well done indeed there, Troy. Fantastic stuff today. What an incredible performance all season. And yes, you are ALR champion season 8. Superb. Well done to Percy as well today, who got a superb Grand Prix win. I do feel a bit guilty for not focusing on Percy more today, because he's done a great job as well. And Chaz as well. What a performance from him. That is our podium finishers for today. Tomorrow night, it is Silver. The Constructors' Championship is very much still on the line now for AlphaTauri then, but they are almost home and dry then. Only 14 points set. There needs to be a massive 14-point swing towards the against AlphaTauri for the Constructors' Championship to be won then. But nope, that's tomorrow. Today is Troye's day. Well done indeed then. And Troye is the world champion. Fantastic stuff indeed. See you tomorrow night for silver. Goodbye.